since we need some water. You need water? We have to speak 1 hour.
It's better to have it with them. But don't ask them now, they're very busy. Look at them, they're very busy.
They post. It's live. Oh, it's already live?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome back, everyone, to our IBSC Student Talk program. Today we have a discussion about Buddhist monks and modern education. Changing decades, education system also changing. Today, in this 21st century, we can see many types of education system, such as the centered approach education system, Bloom taxonomy education system, technology, science, so on. So as we are Buddhist monk, how we can learn modern education in proper way?
Yeah.
So today I have invited two modern education monks, Venerable Tenzin Dorjee from Tibet and Venerable Htayrinda from Myanmar. They have many experience about the modern education, and I believe that they can sagely illuminate us how to learn modern education in proper way. And I also invite our honorable audience. If you have any question, please write your question in comment box. So Bhante, good evening.
Good evening.
So let me ask both of you the question: what is the modern education, and Buddhist monk, how they can learn modern education in proper way? I mean, in your opinion, what is the modern education? Bhante first.
Okay. Good evening for you, and also the good evening for all the viewers who are watching on the online, and also the staff and everyone. And also this is really privilege for me to coming here and sharing my thoughts and knowledge. I don't know how much I can cover up, but still I will try my best to answer all those questions. So in my point of view, the Buddhist monk and modern education. So how can we learn modern education? Okay, let's say take example in my monastery, my own monastery. My monastery name is Dorjee Monastic University, which is currently located in India also in Tibet, but also in India. So in my monastery, we have to learn the traditional way of learning. So like all the Tipitaka or Tripitaka, 3 baskets we have to learn. Above that, we have to learn modern language, English language we have to learn. And also we have to learn Chinese language. And also we have to learn the Tibetan language itself. And also we have we have to learn science. When we say science, when we say modern education, it's also related to us as a monk. So when we're talking about modern education, this is a really big umbrella term. So they have a lot of modern education, as you mentioned before. Yeah. So, but for us, we have to learn which is related to us. Or okay, let's say for the Buddhist monk, in what is related to us. In my monastery, we are learning science. So we're learning science like a quantum physics, also the physics and biology, not the chemical. So when we divide the science can divide into 3 sections, like biology, chemistry, and physics. So in my monastery, we're learning the biology, which is related to our body, and physics, quantum physics, and also the cognitive science or neuroscience, which is the brain, and the cognitive means more about the consciousness, and also the neuroscience means, or the quantum means, which is related to the talking about the okay, let's say from the Buddhist point of view, the interdependent relativity. So this kind of the topic or knowledge we can learn also, which is related to our Buddha teaching also. So for us, it's easy to learn, and also which is related to our daily life and also for our practical. And when we share something Dhamma talk, we can also learn this thing. Another thing is, okay, let's say also the Mahayana point of view, when we say Bodhisattva, okay, let's say I'm not saying that I'm Bodhisattva, but I'm saying that if you want to help someone, then we have to learn knowledge. When we're talking about the Bodhisattva, they say Bodhisattva will learn everything because they need to help someone. When you help someone, you need some knowledge because, okay, you can face many different kind of people. So different level, you have to teach different levels. You have to help different levels. So for that reason, we have to learn everything. So this is just short point of my view. So maybe my friend he will take more.
And this is a very good explanation about the modern education. But yeah, I want to know from the behalf of the audience, the behalf of the monks, how they can learn the modern education in short, in brief explanation.
Okay, short.
Yeah.
This is also related to the Buddhist monk. Okay, let's say we have to learn modern education. One thing, because right now, let's say for the Buddhist monk, there's a two kind of monk. Okay, let's say one who can stay in the forest, or in Tibetan, we mostly monks stay in the cave, who can practice their whole life stay in the cave or forest without contacting the outside. So another monk who coming outside and then doing something for the welfare of social society or welfare of people or helping or teaching, those people, they need to learn the, let's say, science, which is very important because right now whole world controlled by science. So actually, in real sense, if you compare to the Buddhism and science, it is like Buddhism is already matured. Science is like we can say like a child in kindergarten. If you're talking about the material, they are developed so much, but when you're talking about inner value, they're not reached that level. So we have to learn science. Through the science, we can also propagate the Buddhism, or we can teach the younger generation through the science, through the scientific way. We can teach Buddhism in the new technique. So for that reason, also we have to learn the modern science.
Yeah.
And also when we say modern education, we also need to learn the language, which is very important.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, Bhante. Very good explanation. But I have question for you next.
Yep.
But Bhante, Venerable Htayrinda, it is a very pleasure getting the opportunity to discuss about modern education. I believe you have many experience about the modern education. So your opinion, what is the modern education? And from the Buddhist side, monk side of view, how we can learn Buddhist, the modern education? Can you, explain? Yeah.
Afternoon. Or
Good evening.
let me take time for a second before I answer your question. That is my personal problem about this. The original title is Monk and University Education. After that, I'm trying to think in like, what should we speak? What is the possible about the speak under that name? I'm trying to see like the picture. So for my point, mostly is in the negative side. I'm not trying. I see mostly like it's in the negative side. And again, they said if you really wise, a good person, they don't try to speak a negative. So that's just the problem for me. Okay, I say, the wise people, they never try to speak negative thing. They try to look, even when we learn English. So even you are strongly disagree something, you need to speak a little bit like sounds positive. I don't think so, something like that. So I said, okay, so what should I do? I'm trying to look at some monk and university education. Again, I see like mostly like in the negative. It's mean like I'm quite stupid. I'm bad man. So why I cannot see a positive thing in the university education for monk? And should I be wise? Should I be clever to speak in positive? And that's just a liar for me. That's just not me. I'm trying to people look at me and recognize me a good monk. That's just not from my heart, and that's just not the way I am. So whatever I say, just speak from my mind. So depend on the people. Whatever they think, it's not my job. So okay. After that, I'm trying to find the talking about the whatever you say, modern education or university education. So when you talk about university education, they're trying to translate word to the academies. So again, when we try to find what is academics again, academics they use the word they're trying to make the definition about the academic is thinking critically. So that's the problem. So thinking critically. So what is about the learning Buddhism is like, is that what thinking critically is might be problem? So oh no. So you might argue and remember the word again. So in they call Vipajjavadi. Vipajjavadi in the after the Buddha passed away 300 years in the Asoka time.
Yeah.
They use some people they translate that word is critical thinking. It's yes, you follow that's what critical, but that what they use at the time, what the meaning they use in academic way they use thinking critically is not the same. So I'm thinking what possibly the people, maybe some people they say no, Buddhism is like thinking critically, like you see Vipajjavadi, like and maybe someone trying to say like that. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, but I'm also remember no, the word they use at the time and the what the academy they use very different. So that's my problem. So like no, some after they call me and after I that name I'm what should I do? So am I going to show people how negative am I? Okay, whatever. So okay, go back to your question. Modern education.
Okay.
I'm not prepared. Not really happy to see monk change to study modern education. Honestly, if they have basic knowledge in Buddhism, it's okay. I mean, it's okay to study. But if you don't have basically enough study Tipitaka, you go try to study whatever you say modern education. I don't prefer. I don't like so much about that. If you ask me why, that is could be big problem for those monks because I came from the religious study, so we have to study philosophy at the time. If you don't have any basic knowledge about Buddhism, you will become like non-religion easily. So they fight with a big question for the religion. So so I'm thinking that oh here coming the problem. The problem is coming. If some students sitting here they don't have enough basic knowledge for Buddhism, they could be easy to be like non-religion because philosophy. Some say I'm not sure. Some philosophers they're trying to change the people from religion to become the non-religion by their philosophy. Some say that again. So whether accepted or not now it's like more and more monks come to study in the modern education, university education, whether you love it or not, whether you accept it or not, more and more. So for me, I prefer them. I wish them to study this DVD first before they come to study modern education. This is what I'm thinking.
Oh, great. Yeah. And so I think the both of speakers, the opinion is quite different.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is good. Because we humans, we have different idea, different opinions, right? So in Bhante, Htayrinda opinion, the monastic education, the Tipitaka, is more important than the modern education. But Bhante said that the Bhante, their tradition, they have the cognitive science, the education system. So can you explain something about the cognitive science of how that they, in my opinion, they in the Buddhism, like the one of the words that is mind central dharma. The Buddha's teaching is mind central dharma is mean we emphasize the mind to develop of our mind more than our material thing. So Bhante, and I think this is they have the relevance. What your opinion? Yeah, can you explain something about that?
Okay, actually, what I said here is so we are learning the traditional way of study more than to finish our monastic study. We need we need to spend more than 20 years to graduate PhD, like a PhD level. We have to spend more than 20 years. So what I'm saying here is, even we are doing this, spending 20 years, between the 20 years, we also need to learn science. So in the science field, they have, as I mentioned before, 3 science fields there. So from 3 fields, we learning like a cognitive, and also the quantum physics, and also the neuroscience. So the cognitive means, actually this is the new science, kind of science field. So they're talking more about the thoughts, our thoughts. In Pali they say vitaka, right?
Vitaka.
Yeah, vitaka, thought, our thought, vichara, vitaka. So it's like a thought which processes in our mind. So they're talking about, even when the Sanskrit term translate in Tibetan, we say tokpa, translate in English, also sometimes we use the cognitive. So inference or cognitive something. So this is more talking about thought. So means which is related to our mind. So cognitive, and neuroscience also, they're talking about neuro means brain cells. So they're also talking about the mind. So means these 2 science fields which is related to the mind. Okay, let's say for the Buddhists, even the Abhidhamma, they're all talking about the mind. So which is near to the Abhidhamma also. So that's why what I'm saying here is, when we choose let's say we also need to learn modern education, because we are okay, let's say another point of view, we can say we are social animals. We are staying in society. So we need to deal with the society. As a monk, I mentioned before, we are staying in society. We're not staying in the remote area, like a forest, or we're not staying in the mountain. So we need to stay society. When we need to stay society, we have some responsibility, because we are Buddhist monks. So we have to practice by ourselves, like a very hard. Even we can't practice that much hard level. Still, with the practicing, we need to propagate. Actually, I don't like the word propagate, but we need to preach, or we need to share Buddha teaching to the people who like or who want to listen. Not propagating, but we need to share. When we share those knowledge, the listener, most of the students are the modern people. They have a modern education background. So when we share something which is totally the outdated one, like the totally ancient or traditional way, they don't like to listen, because we have to make our audience more happy or easy to understand. When we speak something, if you speak so boring thing, all your audience will sleep. So if you deal with those Buddha teaching, bring together with the modern science, or let's say physics or quantum mechanics or cognitive or neuroscience together, bring together, they can see something. There are also some similarities there. They feel they're familiar with those teachings. Otherwise, if just we speak Buddhist point of view, only Buddhist teaching, they feel boring. So no one will listen to your Dhamma talk.
Yeah.
So we can't reach Buddha teaching to them. So what I'm saying here is, even we have a duty to reach Buddha teaching to the audience or the students. So we need go together. Okay, I'll give one example here. Okay, 2 people coming to you. I think my friend, he know that example. Okay, 2 people coming towards you, and one is your friend, another one is like an unknown one. So you don't know stranger. So the stranger one coming together with your friend, then you feel near to that stranger, even you don't know that stranger. But if both people coming towards you are stranger, then you are not really familiar with those people. So for that reason, even we're teaching something, we make together. So then people can see, some similarity or familiars, they will give you the air to you. So then we can share something. So this is benefit side.
That's great. Yeah, very good answer. I think the audience also they appreciate your question, your answer. So the Venerable, the Htayrinda, you was talking about the university education. Then we are also now studying in university. So when we are looking back the Buddhist history, we also see that the Nalanda University. It was a very great university. It is older than the Oxford University.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is very historical university. So that is why it's called like the Udyalaya or the Tekkachila. It's mean university.
Yes.
So today also we see that some of the scientific people like the James Doty, so they experiment the Buddha's teaching like the compassion, and they explain something about the compassion from the scientific point of view. Then they also wrote one of the book, Science of Compassion.
Yeah, it's true.
Then from the Texas University, I also see one of the researcher. Her name is Kristen Neff. She also done about the self compassion. The research.
Yeah.
Her research also was very successful, very popular. You said that first of all we have to learn monastic education, then we have to learn the modern education. In your point of view, so how we can apply? I mean, I think it is the integratable the Buddha's teaching with the science. How do you think? Your opinion?
You know, when I'm listening, my friend he talking, I feel like, oh, it's better to change like debate. I'm also thinking like here is like better to be like debate. I feel like most of what he talking is I disagree. So I really want to come on, like it's better to change debate. Yeah, when you're talking Sam Nalanda, and you know I'm thinking like another side. So what is possible another side? Actually, I'm not trying to see like a negative side to university, but what I'm seeing make me negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is happening make me to be a negative. Yeah, you're right. You say I'm here in university. Why I say that?
Yeah, that's
Actually,
what I was going to
no.
ask
But
you.
what this make me? What this vulnerable he trying to talk about the one we like we trying to help the people. Yes. What about we trying to take some responsibility? Yes. Now it's like it gotten popular for Buddhism. They're talking about what anti Buddhism. Yeah, Sanghara Buddhism. Like the when they have some problem, then go and trying to support the people. What we can support like that. And again, I remember about this. I asked question to the what Nanachas Longpo. I said, Pande, now there are people they're trying to ask the question. Maybe I should see the camera. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
I said the people now they're trying to accuse the Buddhist monk. So you guys stay in the temple, eat the free food, and sleep in your temple. So you guys don't do anything. You guys don't know outside the temple what's happening. So how many, how the poor your society, how when the people they get sick, they don't have enough money. So but you don't have anything. So they're trying to compare to the, I'm sorry to say that Christianity. So how the Christianity they have the people. So what about Buddhism? So I asked this problem to the Wat Nanachas Longpo Airport at the time, about 4 years ago. So I raised the hand. I say, Pande, now the people they're trying to accuse the Buddhist monk, something like that. They say, I don't know. Like it's like not possible way. Like you cannot have the world. Like so maybe some people don't agree with him, but I understand what he's talking about. So for according, I don't know about Tibetan Buddhism. For Theravada, you should learn by yourself. You should understand deeply. Let's say it rightly. You should get enlightenment first to have people. So the proof is they're trying to prove this word by the Panjavaki, and after that the Yasa. Those all monks they learn from the Buddha, and that they get enlightenment. After that, they're trying to spread Buddhism. So when you go to read the Tipitaka, most of the monks they don't try to go around to spread the Dhamma. No, they're just trying to practice in the temple. Very very pure people who trying to spread the Dhamma. Most of them is they have enough quality in their heart. So what does that mean? If you go to the question again, so it's mean like our mind, if we don't practice enough first, might be dangerous. Something like that. So I don't prefer so much about the Angate Buddhism. So one the Kesari Tamananda, he said the example, like he said at the time, this is the Buddha image. You want to make the Buddha's image to look nice and beautiful. You plant some tree. After that, you don't take care of the tree, and the tree's branch is covered the Buddha image. After that, there's no more Buddha image. It became like the garden. So after that, the garden is became the more important,
Then Buddha image.
and the Buddha image became the behind. So it's very nice. In the Buddhist belief, that book, Kesri Dhammanda, he mentioned about that. That is not what he thinking. That is possible. We are seeing here. Yeah. I'm trying to see here some of my friends. I'm so sad to see them. they are very smart, they are very nice in the modern education, but as a monk, it's time to discuss about Buddhism. They are very confused. So some the lay lecturer and the normal people, they really believe the monk. They try to discuss. So actually, they are good in English, they are good in the modern education, but they are not good enough for what they are standing. So I feel so sad. So some of one of my friends after he studied in Sri Lanka, he came back like the way he thinking became like the atheist, the non-religion, like he proud like free thinking. He oh what's wrong with him? So again in Thailand he is one of my very close friend. He asked me about he confused about the afterlife something like actually he's very smart. So sometimes when we argue something about the idea, oh, I see like one they are very strong in one side, they are not good for what they're standing. It's impossible to be dangerous for them. That's why I'm not prefer about modern education.
Yeah. And so actually, I think your answer they lead to we have to learn monastic education,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
it's
our own education.
Yeah.
Then after that, we can learn like modern education. So by the way, Bhante, now we are learning in MC University. So your point of view, can the MC University give us the like as you said modern education?
Oh, you should say very nice. We are here now. We should say this time. We should say very nice.
Okay, let's say. Okay, so in my point of view, when you say MCU, actually MCU they have 4 faculties plus the IBSC. It's the 5th one, so 5th faculties. Or if they put this in faculties, so I don't know the rest of the faculty what they're teaching really. So what I mentioned before, the modern education, I mentioned about the more on the science. I say neuroscience or quantum mechanics or cognitive. So those topic, I think the MCU are not providing. I think so because even we have a class in our class we have a subject Buddhist and science something.
Science and Buddhism.
Something. So they didn't mention those things. So for that reason about that topic, I think, but I'm not sure. Then other than that, also MCU teaching so many modern language in the humanity or the social science and all the education. They're all teaching the modern education, and those all the texts and all subject are modern education. So they're also providing modern education. But modern education, which I mentioned before, is teaching or not teaching, I'm not sure. But still they're teaching modern education because here not only the lay, not only monks. So they have lots of lay students here. So they're also learning here under those faculties. So I think they're teaching something, but I'm not sure how far they're teaching because I don't have any experience those faculties.
And I think if we keep asking the question like this, like the problem is never end. So if we're talking about it, we should make the point like why we are learning modern education, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's we should make the point. So it's like why Buddhist monks should learn modern education. It's mean like this is the answer. If they have a good reason, why should they learn this? Like it's okay for them.
Yeah, so you can answer.
Yeah. I think you can catch the point. So as your the mention. So what is your opinion? Why
we need to learn modern education?
The Buddhist monk should they learn modern education?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Why we need to learn modern education? In your point of view,
what I'm going to answer, if the Western people they hear what I'm going to answer, they might laughing. But it's true. Mostly for us, if we're talking about the university education, mostly we forget about English. We talk about English. We learn in English. Yes. If you can ask some student why you are coming here for what? To improve my English. So after this, what they mostly, I'm learning English. Even last year, you might remember that most of our classmates, they introduced why they are coming here to study to improve their English. So look at me. I remember once, like when I was the first year, I think one Thai lady asked me, "So why you're coming here to study in Thailand if you think your Myanmar is better than here about the Tibetan study?" I said develop my English. So if you ask me, again, if you change the word modern education, yes, there are many definitions, but for me, the definition of my modern education is to develop my English. So for me, as a Buddhist, learning Tipitaka is enough for me to practice as a Buddhist. No need to learn more outside education. But if you ask me what I'm learning, so to develop my English to see something more. That's
Yeah, that's a very very good answer. And now I think you are very expert in the monastic education, and I believe and you prefer the monastic education more than the modern education. So now we are learning in the MCU University. The what Venerable Venerable Htayrinda. So how do you think what is the difference the monastic education system and the university education system? You mentioned that only the English is for the university education. How do you think?
I mean, not I mentioned, but
Uh-huh.
I mean for me and for most,
Mhm.
even some of Vietnamese, okay, not only from Myanmar, you can ask most of Vietnamese students why they're coming here to develop their English. So one student, he told me, one the student come from the Vietnam study in Mahajula, after 3 years, they go back, speak English. So another student who stay in Temple in Vietnam, they impressed, wow, they go to Thailand about 3 years now. They speak English. The student follow them, come in Thailand. I mean, not only me. Most when you talk with them like frankly, they will say like, "I'm trying to study English." So you ask me like the different or what answer you giving me?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, answer you giving me a lot. There's one thing because I'm study religions. Religion is mean like we have to study many different religion. We study with the real Muslim teacher about religion. We study philosophy with big Christianity. Yeah, very big Christianity. He is very strong Christianity. He taught us about philosophy. So what is as you give me university education giving me one thing open mind. So I'm not sure about other. For me myself before like I'm like I should say I'm very narrow mind. I feel like Buddhism, the first Theravada always right, and yes, we are don't never say we are any single. We don't have any single mistake. Yeah, I feel like yes, even like I'm like
I think your explanation is very good. We are actually the key point is our own education is monastic education, and loving our monastic education and talking about our monastic education, it is not narrow-minded person. We cannot
that's
say
true.
like that. Yeah. So I appreciate and your answer is a more philosophical answer. I really
no no.
appreciate.
Actually,
Yeah.
so the
Bhante,
Buddhist,
mhm.
okay, let's say my point of view. So learning Buddhism and the traditional Buddhist education, or we can say three basket Tipitaka, it's very important. But above that, why we need to learn modern education or how far we can learn modern education? Okay, I'll give you an example. In Tibetan, we used to say like this. Okay, we have one saying or simile analogy. You can cross a big river, like big river. But when we already cross a big river, but there's small canal, you can't cross a small canal. So take an example. Big river is like a three basket. The Buddha's teaching. You already pass three basket, or you learn Buddha's teaching. Big river, you already cross. But when you reach the small canal, you can't cross. You stuck there. So it means we already have the Buddhist education, the three basket. But some level, when we go outside or somewhere, because we don't have the modern education, so we stuck there. So for that reason, it's like the bird flying on the sky. When they look down, they can see the all this place from the bird eye view. They say so they can't see all the clearly, but they can see something. Okay, they can see house and people working there. Like that way, we also need to learn the modern education like that way. We no need to go that much deep level because like at the modern, okay, let's say lay people, they're spending their whole time for the learning modern education in university, but we no need to spend that much time. But still, we need to learn something because Okay, let's say when you go out of monastery, you have to go out monastery. So even you are traveling something, you need to know something, language something. So otherwise you will stuck there. So for that reason, we need to learn something, but no need to go that much deep level. If you can go that much deep level, this is also a good thing. But still, if you can't go that much deep level, still you need to. But I view. So this is, I think, my opinion.
Thank you very much, Bhante. So now let's see some of the question from audience. So one of the here we see the one of the question. Modern modern education and the monastic life should be strict and a balance. Oh, sorry.
Actually, there's a 2, 3.
Yeah.
So they say,
what do you think about the education of our university? Okay, let's answer this one first of all. Huh?
This,
Okay. Yeah, another one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's say even we can answer this one.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. We will answer one by one, right?
yeah. First, we can finish this one. So, what do you think about our education in our university? So actually, we already talk about this now because we already talk about our university. So when we say our university, we are talking about the MCU, whole MCU campus. So for us, or for me, I don't have much knowledge about the MCU whole system, but I know IBSC. So here we are learning. Our major subject is Buddhist. So even the college itself is Buddhist college. So we are learning same like a traditional. Even our subject and everything is traditional, but we learning the modern way, not the traditional way of learning. But learning style is modern style, but the topic or the education itself is traditional Buddhist teaching. So it's like Buddhist teaching, or you can say that you have Buddhist teaching which taught or which teach through the modern system. So this modern way of learning system is modern way of learning, but education itself is Buddhist teaching, so it's traditional. So we mix together. So Buddha's teaching, we use the modern method approach. So this is how we learn in our university.
Yeah. So Bhante,
I'm look at this question. This question, very common. Normally, common question is difficult to answer because it's very wide answer. One, my friends answering. I'm trying to think about that question. I should say honestly about because I finished and graduated from the MCU.
Okay, Bhante, let's answer this question. This is Kema, Venerable Kema. This is our Venerable Kema. He asked the question, I was your view speaker. What kinds of education Buddhist monks should prepare for modern society? So how do you think about this question?
I'm sorry, let me finish that question. I like that question about MCU education.
Okay.
What do I think about Mahajula education?
Okay.
That might be useful.
Yeah, sure.
In the curriculum, there are many subjects. When you study PA, more than 10 subjects for one semester, whether you believe it or not. Yes. I don't know about other faculty. If you go Buddhist faculty, more than 10 subjects in one semester. So outside subjects like say the law, general law, I don't want to comment about that. I'm talking about Buddhism. So most of the Buddhist, the subjects related with Buddhist is, I feel like they are like introduction. So I wish if some of my gen watching this is like, please do it like something really learning. So let's say that there's teaching like in the subject you read Abhidhamma. The student is look like introduce what is Abhidhamma. I know, just doing something about, let them understand something about what is Abhidhamma really, something like that. So let's say what learning some sutta, let them understand what is the real that sutta, not just introduce like, oh, what is the Abhidhamma, something like that, and finish. They just can say a little bit, but they cannot discuss something like that. I mean that Venerable, he asked a good question. What is modular education? So that's why I want to answer that question. What I have learned is like most of the subjects related with Buddhism, mostly I feel like they're like the introduced. Is I wish them to go more deeply.
Deep level.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bhante. So let me ask Bhante, Tenzin, this question. This is from our Venerable Kema.
Sure.
He asks, what kinds of the education, Buddhist monks have to prepare for the modern society? How do you think?
So he said, what kind of education Buddhist monk should prepare for the modern society? The first important thing is, my friend he mentioned, so we have to prepare our own knowledge, the Buddha's teaching. This is the most like a priority. We have to prepare our own who you are. So we are the Buddhist monks. So we have, even we can't say you are the perfect in the Buddha's teaching, but we need to learn the Buddha's teaching. Okay, so get ready to teach the modern society. This is the most important thing, because we need to know the well-known enough to the Buddha's teaching. This is the one most priority. So we have to prepare for the modern society, because when we say modern society, they are facing more difficulties. Okay, let's say right now we can understand that we are sitting here, so we can't get that many people here, because this is a modern society problem. So for the modern society, so we have to prepare Buddha's teaching, and then we can apply them Buddha's teaching and teach them. The Buddha's teaching is some level we can take example as a Buddha's teaching as a medicine, Buddha as the doctor, and Buddha's teaching as a medicine, and we as a patient. So we have to prepare Buddha's teaching for them, because they are facing difficulty. This is one priority. Second thing, as I mentioned before, when we teach the Buddha teaching to the modern society or the audience or the learners, so we need to learn we need some modern education, like a scientific science or something. If you're talking in the law student, so you need some knowledge about the law. Or if you're talking about some science student, you need some knowledge about the science. Then you can share together with the Buddha's teaching and also the science or law or whatever your audience. So you can share together. Then it's more fruitful for the audience, so they can listen more easily, or whatever you speak, it get more easy to get in their ears.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Bhante, Venerable Htayrinda. So one of the questions asked the Venerable of my friend, the Penyachara. He asked the Buddhist monk now learning in Sri Lanka, and then in Thailand, Myanmar, many types of the subject. So he asked, how do you think, what is the problem or reason for the Buddhist university in Myanmar? Actually, it means the Myanmar monks, to learn, they going outside. So what is the problem of the Myanmar university? How do you think? Because you are from Myanmar, yeah. How do you think? This one.
So the question is,
the question is not clear,
actually,
what problem reason?
So the question is like not clear. I'm sorry to say that. He said like, what problem and reason do they have at Buddhist university in? What does he mean? He mean like,
actually he mean that the Myanmar, we have many Buddhist university, but Myanmar monks they going outside to learn the university education for many different subjects. So your opinion, what is the problem of the Myanmar university? Why they don't learn? Why they don't learn in Myanmar? Why they go outside of the university?
I got it. In Myanmar, there are many universities. So why they go outside? It might be a different reason. By if you ask every single student, they might answer to you different reasons. So for me, again, English. I say if I stay in Myanmar, I might not speak in English. So if I go to other country, number one is I have to speak in English. Number two is like my country is like what they call developing country. So if I go another country like more develop my country, I might see better. Actually, Thailand is quite good for me. I can see like different kind of people from around the world. Yeah, so it's open my mind, open my eye. So I cannot answer because this is a very personal question.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like if you go to every single person, they might answer to you very different. So for me, number one is English. Number two is like that here is developed more than my country. So I hope this country can give me more than my country.
So how do you think now? I think your Mon state you have the university, and so how do you think your university is reliable? This is my question. Yeah. How do you think?
Yeah, they have the university, but they are not yet ready to study for the MA or PhD. They're like you can say now they're trying. They are not yet ready to study for MA or PhD.
Okay, let me say something here, but even it's not directly related to me when they're talking about the Myanmar. So, but in my point of view, also many people. Okay, let's say when many people. Okay, we're coming here for the learning education. One is we need the education. Another thing is we need a certificate. Okay, when you go outside abroad, so outside of your country. Okay, let's say he mentioned here Sri Lanka and India and also Machula means Thailand. He mentioned 3 countries here. So when you go outside and when you bring your certificate from the outside country, it's like you have some kind of higher degree, because it's not in your country, so it's outside. Because one is education. He mentioned before, like English, and you can when you go outside, you can meet many people, many students. Okay, let's say in MCU here in IBSC, you have many students, so you can learn more, not only from the classroom. When you talk about let's say we're talking together, so I can learn from your society, the traditional, your way of doing, and I can learn from him without teachings, just discussion. You become more some kind of well-known people, so you can learn many things. This is all one benefit, maybe for them. For me also, that's one benefit. Another thing is, okay, when you go outside, we have to use English language as a medium, so we can learn English language, as I mentioned before. Another thing is we can get knowledge, and also your degree itself. Your degree is from the outside, so then you can when you have a degree, if you show that your degree is outside, then it's become like something else.
Yeah. So okay, here next question we see the what is the difference between the Buddhist Abhidharma and the quantum
physics, yeah.
physics. I don't know the physics. Yeah, I think you understand very well
Yeah.
about physics. Yeah.
So actually, yeah. So when we say Abhidhamma, so it's also a very big topic, So even the what Abhidhamma is like a higher knowledge or higher Buddhist teaching. So highest one. So Abhi. So but here the Buddhist, even here Buddha explained all our mind and mental, Chitta and Chittasika, everything here Buddha mentioned here. Also Buddha mentioned here all the Buddhism, but everything here to the link of interdependence. But when we say quantum physics, this is one small topic. Okay, let's say when we say Abhidhamma, it's like a big umbrella term. When we say quantum physics, okay, here even the quantum and physics together, but physics come under the quantum, so quantum physics. So this is more like, even I don't have much knowledge about the quantum physics. In my point of view, quantum physics is like in the science they say relativity. So relativity means, okay, let's say in Buddhist point of view, this is more on the Paticcasamuppada, in Bali, or interdependent. So those scientists, when they research, deep research, and they can prove that, okay, they can't prove the inside, but they can prove outside, solid thing. Okay, let's say when they prove this mic, quantum physics, they try to analyze the deep research, and when they dismantle or they penetrate, they say this is nothing exists. Okay, when I look at this mic, I can see this solid thing. But when they deep research, they sense experiment it exists objectively. In the Mahayana point of view, we say shunyata, or the Theravada, or we can also accept the anatta. But they are not reached that level, anatta, shunyata. But for the solid thing, they can prove that nothing exists, because when they penetrate or experiment, they can't see anything. When they research further, at the end, they can't see anything. There's no mic. So this is a relativity, because even we say mic, this is depend on all those items, all this item together become a mic. When you remove all the item outside, there's no mic. So this is where they experiment science. So this is quantum physics. Just small point of view. If you go deeper level, it's very deep also now. But when we say Abhidhamma, we all know Abhidhamma. So it's big difference there.
Yeah, Bhante, your the explanation is very interesting, and I think this is very the effective, and he will understand. This is the question from the Brinabal Kunda. So next, I think this is the comment.
Yes, it's comment.
So I think, in my opinion, the quantum physics is like the we can see the Abhidharma. He talked about the Abhidharma. So Abhidharma, we can see also the Rupa Sangha. I think the Venerable Htayrinda experience about that in the Rupa Sangha. So when we see some the material thing, in one of the material thing, the includes the consist of 8 elements like that. This is like the relevance,
Relevance and relativity, yes.
quantum physics and the Abhidharma. So now I'm very appreciate your answer. Very good. Thank you very much.
So there's one more question. Shall we answer this? What is the fundamental difference between the
I
Buddhist
really like
education
this
and modern
question. Who is
education?
Nanda Chara? Oh, I
Venerable,
really love this
please
question.
Okay, you can answer.
Okay, you can answer the different Buddhist
Thank you for this question.
education.
Let me say for Buddhist education first, as a Buddhist monk. Buddhist education. So Buddhist education to get enlightenment, if you say it rightly. So let's say if you learn very small sutta, you practice, you can get enlightenment. It's okay, you don't need to learn more. So what we learn is to support us to practice when we practice. So go back my first word rightly. Buddhist education is like to support when we practice. So the modern education, they give the definition is like the critical to support your critical thinking, something like that. Okay, if I stop here, you might feel like Buddhist education is quite stupid. So like you say like, oh, critical thinking is useful. So why should not we critical thinking? No. In Buddhist education, you learn and you have to practice. If you never practice, you would never understand what the Buddha talking about. A few days ago, I go to read in this library one sutta like the Mula Panasa Sapa Dhamma Mula Priya Sutta. Okay, for example, you go that sutta, the Buddha say like that. Without practice and you get some level, you might never understand what the Buddha teaching. So it's mean like that again, conclusion this question, like this is brief explanation. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
that a little bit long.
Fundamental, yeah.
Buddhist education is to support people to get enlightenment. Modern education is to support people in critical thinking. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, very. I think he appreciate what your answer.
So
Very
can
good.
I say something about this
Yeah,
question?
yeah, Bhante.
Okay, let's say the Buddhist education first. So when we say Buddhist education, there's a learning system and the goal. So goal is same. He mentioned when we learn the Buddhist education, the intention why we learn in the Buddhist education, the intention is to get enlightened out of suffering. This is a goal. The Buddhist education itself is like our inner education. It feel like insight. So it will enlighten your inner value. What we have a value. It will enlighten your inner value. So Buddha's teaching mostly relate to the insight, or we can say our mind, which is the inner science, or we can say inner science. So when we say modern education, mostly they're talking about outside, physical or material. So when we say modern education, they're talking about the material or outside of. Okay, let's say when we divide body and mind, so it's like the modern education, they're more talking about the body or the solid things. So Buddhist education talking about inner value.
So you say like that, so modern education also they have like psychology.
They have a psychology, but if you're talking about the psychology, so way they teaching psychology, way Buddha's teaching psychology, even Buddha's teaching also, we're talking about also Buddha's in the Buddha's teaching also, they're talking about body, our body. We say the mind and body, teaching also mind and body. But when we say maturity, this is the big question. So when we're talking about, okay, let's say percentage. So Buddha's teaching mainly focus on insight. Okay, to develop our mind.
Okay.
So when we develop our mind, we can get enlightened. So means Buddha's teaching about the developing our mind. But the modern education, they're talking about the developing the outside material things. So to develop, why two goal? Same thing in modern education and Buddhist education, their goal is same. both teaching or learning for the happiness. We all seeking happiness. When we learning Buddhist education or practicing Buddhist teaching to get happiness. Modern education, their goal is also happiness. But way they approaching is different level. They focusing more on the outside. We focus Buddhist teaching more focusing on inside. So this
Yeah,
is, I think, the brief.
I think you catch the point. I think very very good answer. So by the way, Venerable Tenzin, one of the I think your answer is very good, very reliable. But you said about the critical thinking. So in Tividaka, we also see the like the Chintamaya Jnana and the Bhavanamaya Jnana and Sutamaya Jnana. So can you make more clear the audience how the relevance? Please,
Okay, Chintamaya Jnana is you can translate like the critical thinking. Chinta is like thinking. So this I love one word from the Mahasi Sayadaw. Actually, this word there are many people should know that word. I think because they think they're proud. I'm so smart. I have critical thinking, and they come to learn the Buddhism. They use that way again, critical thinking, and they kick Atagatha out. They kick Adiga out. I'm so smart. I don't believe Atagatha Adiga. So this one word I saw Mahasi Sayadaw. He write in the one book. He said like, okay, they criticize a lot about Atagatha. So what does that mean? Is that useful for you? It could have some benefits for you for your critical thinking. Come on, you should to practice what they're talking in Atagatha.
Yeah, I see.
If you practice, you might see right or wrong what they're talking in Atagatha. So he say you use Sutamaya Jnana and Chintamaya Jnana, let's say critical thinking, you criticize. It doesn't make you any benefits.
I see.
I'm not sure about the modern education, but for the Buddhism, doesn't make you any benefits. You just criticize a lot what your master teaching you, and you didn't do any practice. So yeah.
Yeah, Bhante, do you have anything to say about the level of the wisdom?
So
how do you think?
Suttamaya Panya, Chintamaya Panya, and Bhavanamaya Panya. So this is a 3 level of wisdom. So this is also very important in the Buddhist point of view when we say wisdom. So first we have to hearing wisdom, and then we have whatever we hear, we have to reflect. And whatever we reflect, we have to practice. So last one is the real Buddha's teaching, or real what Buddha want. So first we need to listen, and whatever you listen, then you have to reflect. So I think in my point of view, here we need a critical thinking is important, because if you just, whatever someone say, just follow, it's like a blind faith. You just accept someone's. But when you listen someone, okay, let's say some teacher or teachings, you listened, Suttamaya Panya, and then the Chintamaya Panya here. So you have to reflect yourself, whether it's true or not true, whether it's applicable yourself or whether it's benefit for you or not. So you have to critical thinking here. When you think more deeply, then you know it's benefit, or you know this is benefit for me, also it can help me, or it can help other sentient beings. So then you can follow with 100%. So without thinking here, you just follow, then at the end, there's no benefit, then you're in the wrong side. So in the between, Chintamaya Panya, you have to reflect, contemplate yourself, then you realize that, oh, this is beneficial, or it can benefit me, it's useful. Then you can follow 100%. Then it's like a Bhavanamaya Panya, or the meditation, or whatever you're doing, practicing. So then you can get results. So critical thinking is very important for the Buddha's teaching also. In Mahayana or Vajrayana, we say, even Buddha said, he himself said, you have to analyze his teaching. You have to analyze it. Your mind should be critical. So you have to think whether it's beneficial, not beneficial. So then, it will negate, or it will cut the blind faith. Some people, they just follow. So I think this is important for me in my point of view.
Yeah, thank you very much, the Bhante. So today, the Venerable, the Htayrinda, the side of view, the monastic education is more important than modern education. This is very good. Actually, I also prefer that point, because that is the monastic education is our own education.
Yeah, priority.
That yeah. Then the Bhanteji say that they have your tradition have some the science, the cognitive science. So it is very good. So looking the 21st century education system like the Bloom's taxonomy. So there also we can find the education level. We have to learn, we have to memorize, and we have to apply, right? And then we have to analyze, and we have to evaluate, and we have to they create something. Actually, I think this is the relevant, for example, first of all, we learn the Buddhist teaching and we practice it. Then we get some benefit. This is, I think, very scientific. This is also one thing, one of the points, especially like the Epechiko or Baneiko. This is the very popular words of the Buddha. Your explanation is very good, and I really appreciate. So I think the both of side, the modern education or university education and monastic education is important for the Buddhist monk because they changing, as I said, they changing the decades. Our education system also they changing. Yes. Then we also have to more understand and distinguish about the difference of the education system. If we see like that, it is more good. And then we see in the Mangala Sutta, one of the words that is the learning the Sipingcha. They refer Sipingcha. It refer like if we learn modern education or science or something or technology like that is also good. The Buddha pointed like that. This is all the one of the auspicious dharma. He said like that. So I think this is very good and. I believe that our audience, they appreciate it, and we are really grateful for joining with us with the discussion. And Bhante, both of you, I am very, grateful joining us and illuminating us about the modern education and monastic education and university education. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.